At the end of this week's parsha, we find the juxtaposition of two seemingly unrelated mitzvahs. On the one hand, the mitzvah of Even Shlema V'Tzedek Yelach, that a person has to have honest weights and measures, and the mitzvah of Zchiras Amalek, to remember that Amalek attacked us after we left Mitzrayim. Rashi on the spot makes the connection between these two mitzvos and explains, Im shikarta b'midos mishkalos havidoig migirei ha'oyev. If you are dishonest with your weights and measures in your business practices, so then you have to worry about attacks from the enemy, from Amalek. The Netziv here on Rashi notes that it's a bit ironic that Rashi's saying that being dishonest in your business practices is what leads to the attack of the enemy, and that's what's learned out from this connection between the attack of Amalek and the mitzvah of Midos Mushkalos, because seemingly when the attack of Amalek happened right after they left Egypt, there really wasn't any major commerce going on in Klal Yisrael. There wasn't businesses and an opportunity really for a person to be dishonest in his midos and mishkalos. So it's a bit funny to say that from here we learn that this is what causes an attack of the enemy. And Tziv also is bothered, why exactly is it specifically midos and mishkalos that we find this, that leads specifically to girei ha'oyev as opposed to gezel in general? What's so unique or especially bad about midos and mishkalos that dafka that we say leads to attacks? So explains the Netziv that in truth the real reason why the attack from Amalek happened we find in Parshas B'Shalach. Rashi there already says on the parsha of when Amalek came to attack that Samach Parsha Zu L'Mikra Zeh Lomar Tamid Ani Beinechem Mezuman L'Chol Tzarchechem Atem Omrim Hayesh Hashem B'Kirbeinu Imayin. Right, the previous pasuk right before, where it talks about how Klal Yisrael complained when there wasn't enough water. Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu imayim. So in response to that lack of faith, says Rashi, that's why Hashem said, "Oh, you think I'm not here taking care of you? Now I'm going to allow Amalek to come and attack you." So how does this connect to Rashi by us that says that the midos u'mishkalos is the cause for attacks from the enemies? So the Netziv explains that, let's say by regular gezel, when a person steals something from his friend, so for the most part, that type of thing happens from, a temporary person falling for his Yetzer Hara. He becomes greedy and he wants something, so he steals it. Whereas a person who's dishonest in his weights and measures, that's a whole nother level. That's a person who his entire livelihood is based on dishonesty. His entire system of how he financially stays afloat is based on a corrupt system of weights and measures that are dishonest. That isn't just a person being greedy. That's something else. That's a lack of faith. That's a person not really believing, not really internalizing the belief that in the end of the day, his parnasa is coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who really provides. Because if he really realized that, so he would follow the rules and the klalim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu set in his Torah, that you have to be honest in your business practices. From the fact that he feels like the only way he could make it is by doing it dishonestly, that shows a lack of faith, a lack of emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, in a sense, it's really the same exact thing. The lack of faith that Klal Yisrael showed by saying Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu is exactly what's going on by the person who is dishonest with his midos u'mishkalos. Wishing you a very good Shabbos.